There comes a point when worry takes over your thoughts. You start noticing little changes, moments that feel off, small excuses that repeat, silences that used to be filled with warmth. You find yourself thinking more, questioning more, and slowly losing the calm that once defined you. It's a cycle that many go through, a search for truth that ends up taking away more peace than it gives. You check the phone when no one's around. You read between lines, scroll through messages, stare at old photos, trying to find a sign that explains the feeling inside. You tell yourself it's about clarity, but really it's about trying to calm the storm in your chest. When people feel betrayed, the first thing they chase is proof. They think if they can just find evidence, they'll be able to move on. But proof doesn't heal, it only deepens the wound. Every time you look for it, you give more of your energy to fear, and that fear grows. You think one more check will end the confusion, yet all it does is tighten the knot. The truth you want hides deeper, and all the while, you're losing yourself. Many don't realize that the endless search for answers outside is what drains the life inside. It's not just about whether someone lies or not, it's about how much of your own peace you're willing to trade for something you might never truly know. The more you push, the more distant everything feels. That's why so many people get trapped in the same loop, because they're asking the wrong questions. Are you seeing someone else? It sounds like the big question, but it never gives peace, because anyone hiding something has already rehearsed that moment. They know exactly what to say. Lies are simple when they only need a yes or a no. The problem isn't in what you ask, it's in how you ask. If you really want to see the truth, stop thinking like an investigator. Start thinking like someone who values honesty more than control. You can't force truth out of someone, but you can invite it to show itself. It starts with changing your approach. Don't chase her actions, watch her energy. Don't ask what she expects, ask what she isn't ready for. Instead of, where were you? Try something different, like, I feel like we're not as close as we used to be. How do you feel about us? That one change transforms the whole conversation. You're no longer demanding proof. You're opening a space for truth to breathe. Because real questions aren't traps, they're mirrors. They make people face themselves, and when that happens, the truth comes through in small, natural ways. You'll hear it in pauses, in how the tone shifts, in the way the eyes move when the heart feels caught between what's real and what's been said. When you ask calmly, when you stop trying to win or catch someone off guard, something powerful happens. The pressure leaves the room, defenses drop, the performance falters. And in that quiet, the truth has a way of showing up. You don't need to demand it. You just need to let it exist. It's the same way with health, with healing, with life itself. When we're too focused on fixing what's wrong, we often make things worse. The more we stress, the less we see clearly. The more we chase what we can't control, the more we lose balance. Whether it's the health of your body or the health of your heart, the principle is the same. Clarity comes when calm begins. When the mind is calm, it notices things: tone, breath, movement, emotion. Those are signs far more reliable than words. People can plan what to say, but they can't always plan how they feel. You can see it in the way they pause too long or speak too fast, in how their eyes avoid yours or their shoulders tighten when they talk about something that matters. That's not something you need to analyze like a detective. It's something you simply notice, like a doctor reading vital signs. The body never lies, not when the heart feels heavy. So take a step back. Let the noise fade. You don't need to dig through messages or replay moments in your mind 1,000 times. The truth doesn't live there. It lives in what can't be rehearsed, in the space between what someone says and what their heart feels. And when you see that gap, when the words sound calm but the body trembles, when the smile fades too quickly, when the tone feels too bright to be real, that's when you know something deeper is being hidden. Don't rush to accuse, don't rush to prove. Just see it for what it is. The truth isn't a weapon, it's a mirror. You don't need to fight with it, you just need to accept what it shows. But this awareness isn't just about relationships, it's about emotional health. It's about how much peace you allow yourself to have. Constant suspicion, whether justified or not, eats away at the body like stress. It raises your heart rate, disrupts your sleep, weakens your immune system, and drains your mental strength. It's not only about what you're losing in love, it's about what you're losing in yourself. Learning to ask the right question is not about exposing someone else. It's about protecting your own balance. You can't heal if you keep fighting shadows. You can't move forward if you keep replaying what hurts. You can only start healing when you choose calm over chaos, truth over drama, and understanding over control. That's what the right question does. It opens the door to something real, not to win, not to catch, but to see. And once you see clearly, you don't need to keep searching. You simply know. When trust starts to break, many people begin to live in a constant state of tension. You can feel it in your body, the tightness in your chest, the restless nights, the racing thoughts that won't stop even when you try to relax. This kind of stress isn't just emotional, it's physical. When your mind stays in alert mode for too long, your body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. They prepare you for danger, but when there's no real danger to fight, they start to harm you from within. You lose focus, you feel tired but can't sleep. Your appetite changes, your heartbeat feels heavier, and your mind keeps spinning around the same fears. That's why learning calm isn't weakness, it's survival. When you calm yourself before asking hard questions, you're not letting someone get away with something, you're protecting your clarity. When you're calm, you think clearer, you observe better, and you can tell the difference between truth and performance. People often assume power comes from control, but real power comes from composure. You don't have to chase or accuse to understand what's real. You only need to stay still enough to see what's already there. In emotional health, this approach is vital. The way you ask questions determines whether you find peace or more confusion. When you attack or corner someone, they go into defense mode. Their body tightens, their tone sharpens, and the truth gets buried deeper. But when you stay grounded, you give them space to face themselves. You'll see the truth not in their words, but in their pauses, not in their explanations, but in the tension they try to hide. This isn't manipulation, it's awareness. It's learning to read what's genuine instead of chasing what's loud. It's also about understanding that lies don't always come from cruelty. Sometimes they come from fear. People lie because they can't face guilt, shame, or the loss of image. But when lies pile up, they create inner conflict. The body fights that conflict even when the mind tries to mask it. That's why people who hide something often show signs of fatigue, irritability, or even sudden kindness that feels forced. Their emotions are split between the story they tell and the truth they feel, and that split creates pressure that seeps out in behavior. Learning to notice these things isn't just about catching deception, it's about becoming emotionally intelligent. It's the same skill that helps you see when your friend says, "I'm fine," but clearly isn't, or when someone's smile doesn't reach their eyes. When you cultivate emotional intelligence, you become more attuned to others and to yourself. You stop reacting and start understanding. You see that every movement, every tone, every hesitation tells a part of a story. And once you learn to listen to those silent stories, you don't need to search through phones or chase proof. You already see what's true. This same skill applies to your health too. Your body also speaks when something's off. Just like emotional stress leaks through tone and posture, physical imbalance leaks through signals. Fatigue, pain, anxiety, tension. When you ignore those signs, they grow. When you chase quick fixes instead of listening, the real issue stays hidden. Just like in relationships, the truth in health doesn't always come from tests or numbers alone. It comes from paying attention to how you feel and being honest with yourself. When you begin to value calm, you start to change everything around you. Conversations soften, reactions slow down. You begin to ask not to control, but to understand. You stop seeing silence as weakness and start seeing it as space for truth to emerge. The moment you stop needing to prove something, you start to regain your strength. Because strength isn't about how loud you are, it's about how deeply you can listen, even when it's hard. When you do ask, make it a real conversation. Sit close, not to intimidate, but to connect. Keep your tone steady. Don't let anger twist your voice or make you rush. The goal isn't to make someone break, it's to make both of you see clearly. When you ask softly, the mask becomes heavy. When you stay quiet after asking, the truth finds its way out through the tension that silence creates. Don't fill the silence with more words. Let it stretch. It's in that space that people's truth begins to surface, not because they're caught, but because pretending gets too heavy to hold. And when that happens, remember, your role isn't to judge or punish, it's to see. To understand whether what's left is worth healing or letting go. Because sometimes clarity doesn't fix the past, but it saves your future. It gives you peace to decide what's next instead of staying trapped in doubt. And doubt, if left unchecked, is like poison. It doesn't destroy all at once. It eats away slowly until you no longer recognize yourself. That's why learning to ask the right question matters so much. It's not only a tool for truth, it's a mirror for growth. Are you still proud of the life we're building? Isn't about catching someone in a lie, it's about holding up a reflection of the relationship itself. It asks not for a defense, but for awareness. It's an invitation to see if both hearts are still walking in the same direction. And when asked with calm and sincerity, it changes everything. Because that question doesn't just reveal truth, it restores your sense of control, not over the other person, but over yourself. And in that moment, you'll notice something else too. The more calm and honest you are, the more others show who they really are. You no longer need to force the truth, you allow it. You stop reacting to what's said and start noticing what's real. That's when your healing begins. Not when someone confesses, but when you stop betraying your own peace in search of something outside you. The real lesson here isn't about someone else's lies, it's about your power to see clearly without losing yourself. It's about staying centered, learning emotional awareness, and refusing to let fear dictate your choices. Because clarity doesn't come from chaos, it comes from calm. And the more calm you bring, the more truth you'll see in others and in yourself. When you finally learn to ask calmly, something changes deep inside you. You begin to understand that truth is not a thing to be forced from others, but something you uncover through your own steadiness. The power isn't in confrontation, it's in self-control. You stop running after every doubt, and instead you start to rebuild your sense of peace. That's when healing truly begins, when you realize that being honest with yourself matters more than exposing someone else's secrets. Once you accept that, your energy shifts. You stop searching for what's hidden and start strengthening what's real. You stop waiting for others to give you closure and you create it yourself. This is one of the healthiest things you can do for your body and your mind. Because every time you let go of obsession, you give your nervous system a chance to rest. Your heart rate slows, your breathing steadies, your thoughts become lighter, you regain clarity, you can sleep again, you start to feel like yourself. From a health perspective, this shift is powerful. Chronic stress and doubt act like toxins, invisible but damaging. They raise inflammation levels, lower immunity, and cloud decision-making. When you replace suspicion with calm reflection, your brain releases different chemicals, serotonin and oxytocin, that rebuild trust, improve focus, and boost emotional balance. It's not magic, it's physiology. The way you think shapes the way your body feels. The more peace you practice, the healthier you become. And it goes beyond relationships. Every time you deal with a difficult person, every time you face uncertainty, you can use the same principle. Pause before reacting, ask better questions, ones that bring awareness instead of accusation. Instead of saying, "Why did this happen to me?" try asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" That one change can move you from blame to growth. In medicine and psychology, the shift from reactive to reflective thinking is what builds resilience. It trains your mind to respond to stress in healthier ways. When you look back, you'll notice something else. The strength you thought came from anger was really weakness. The quiet confidence you find in calm awareness, that's real strength. Because when you no longer let someone's words control your emotions, you reclaim your freedom. You don't get lost in guessing games, you live in your truth. And that truth is simple. Your peace is your power. There's a kind of wisdom that only arrives after the storm. You stop needing loud answers. You stop needing to win. You realize that calmness itself reveals what you need to know. You learn that the right question, "Are you still glad about the life we're building?" Isn't just for your partner, it's for yourself too. Are you still proud of how you live? Are you still aligned with the promises you made to your own heart? When you ask that honestly, you begin to see where your real healing starts. You may notice how people respond to that kind of question. Some will pause, truly think, and speak from a place of feeling. Others will stumble, rush, or fill the silence with explanations that don't quite fit. You'll learn to hear the tone beneath the words, the truth under the noise. You'll see that you don't need confrontation to recognize honesty, you only need awareness. And when you start living with that awareness, your relationships change. The people who value truth will meet you there. Those who thrive on confusion will drift away. That's how clarity works. It cleanses your life of what doesn't belong without you having to chase anyone. So when you feel that old urge to check, to accuse, to prove, remember this: truth doesn't hide from calm, it hides from chaos. Be still and it will show itself. This way of living will not only help you find peace and love, it will make you stronger in every area of your life. You'll listen better, react less, and make choices that come from balance, not fear. You'll find that being calm in hard moments is like medicine for the soul. It lowers emotional pressure and allows your mind to heal. In the end, all of this comes down to one truth. Peace and clarity begin with you. You can't control what others do, but you can control how you see, how you ask, and how you respond. When you choose understanding over accusation, awareness over suspicion, calm over chaos, you heal. And that healing spreads. It improves your relationships, your body, your energy, and your outlook on life. You become someone who no longer needs to chase what's hidden, because you already live in the light of your own truth. You speak with calm strength, you listen with compassion, and you love without losing yourself. That's what it means to be free, to know the truth without letting it destroy your peace. So next time you feel doubt rising, don't search for evidence. Search for stillness. Take a breath, ask with care. Listen not just to words, but to the feeling behind them. and to the feeling inside you. That's where the real answers live. Because at the end of every question, the goal isn't to catch someone else's lie. It's to stop lying to yourself about what you already know and to find the courage to live in that truth with grace. When you do that, you no longer look blindly again and you see clearly, calmly, and completely.